Well, time once again for your discount tire tip of the week. Tech tip, that is, with the professor, Sandy Ganz.
Well, welcome back from the exciting racetrack, Adam. And one of the things that we found out about the racetrack is that many of the racers use nitrogen in the tires.
That's right, they do, Sandy.
Question about that is, why should we use it in our regular
Why
cars?
nitrogen? Why in our road-going cars?
Why not? Well, there's a few reasons. Some people think it doesn't work or it's not worth the money. If it's free, absolutely have them fill your tires with nitrogen.
You're saying if it's free, it's worth the money.
Absolutely.
Like truffles are expensive.
Well,
but if they were free,
there's one thing.
they'd be worth the money?
If it's free, it'd be worth the money. Now, here's the thing. One of the things that...
I disagree, but continue.
You disagree about the free saving money?
I just don't think things are free or worth the money.
Well,
let's push forward.
You have your value system. You have your value system. Here's the thing with nitrogen. If you're doing your tire diligence by checking the air in your tires regularly, or even not regularly, once in a while, you don't need it. Because the whole idea and the whole purpose of nitrogen is twofold. One is it's potentially a little bit bigger molecule, which means it leaks out slower, marginally. Now, the second one is that nitrogen is dry. So when they theoretically fill your tire with nitrogen, the contents of your tire does not have the moisture that a regular air compressor often puts into it. So given that, what you have is a tire that stays roughly the same pressure. Not exactly, because it's still going to go up, but if you have moisture in your tire, it's going to go up a lot higher in pressure.
When it heats up.
When it heats up, absolutely.
Right.
So that's why the race cars guys run nitrogen. NASCAR guys, racers.
I would say that's threefold.
Three? Well,
you said it was twofold.
I'm not good at math. Maybe
I feel like there was a third fold.
We won't charge for the extra tip here, by the way.
Well, we don't charge for the extra fold.
But there's a couple other good reasons to use nitrogen, especially if you're running a race car. One of them is if you're going to hit something at the track, you can use one of these. Basically, this is something we made for our track cars. It's a nitrogen tank for a beer keg. So you can buy this at a beverage factory, a beer nitrogen regulator. You're probably into it, maybe $150.
So it's used as a propellant.
Well, it's great because you can fill your tires up, and a lot of them, with a small tank. If you were to take the air pressure tank with you, roughly, when all said and done, about the same volume, you can put 120 psi into this. This you can put 1800 psi.
Wow.
And do a lot of tires, fill your buddies' tires that forget to bring air.
Yeah. And if a giant shark attacks your ship, you shove it into its mouth,
and you carbine.
Boom. Yeah.
It blows up.
And then where would you go to get it filled up?
Any welding supply or beer supply places or beverage supplies, because it's just standard nitrogen. Like I said, the main thing about using nitrogen is it's dry air. And if you didn't vacuum the air out of your tires as it stands, you already have one full tire of air that's probably full with moisture. The other thing is that the atmosphere is roughly, 75% nitrogen anyways?
Sure.
So, what are we really replacing? So the main thing is dryness of gas in your tire. So dry nitrogen, dry air. If you have a desiccant on your air compressor, it's great. Don't fall for prey. Like, oh man, I got nitrogen in my tires, I'm going to get better gas mileage. It's all BS. If your tires are the right pressure, it doesn't matter what's in it. And some trucks and
Sandy, what I hear you saying, right now is you don't necessarily need nitrogen, but you need nitrogen.
What I'm saying is, if you have it, it's great. If you don't, who gives a hoot? Because here's the thing. The smaller car tires, they work fine. The truckers may see some better gains because they're having a gigantic tire at 80 psi or whatever they run. So there's potentially some better gains by them by having.
But ultimately, it falls, as the Jewish NASCAR driver would say, it couldn't hoit.
Couldn't hoit.
And ultimately, it's not going to hoit you on the track, and it's not going to hoit you on the freeway.
No. And I'm going to show you again, everybody here. This is your best friend for your tires. A nice tire gauge. Check your tires when cold, as per the spec on your car manual, or just guess like we do.
This is like one of those. If you stay up late enough, you'll see the infomercial for the cell phone for the seniors.
The jitterbug?
It's like the
Can we mention a brand name like that?
size of a Space Saver spare, and each button is like 4 inches by 4 inches. It's like you can hit it with your fist.
You can use it for racing gloves too.
This is the old man's version of the tire pressure
we can
checker.
see it at night too. So
Yeah, that is
but
nice.
Again, most important thing: check the tire pressure. If you have the option to use nitrogen and it's free, go ahead and use it. It's okay to mix regular air with it. You're not going to get 100 miles per gallon more because
Well,
it's nitrogen.
quick question, Professor. I'm just John Q. Public, and I'm pulling up into a place that has nitrogen with my car. Do I want to let the air out of the tires and try to remove as much moisture as I possibly can before I fill it up?
You could, and that would give you the most bang for the buck, but I'm going to venture a guess that unless you actually do like some of the professional racers do, where they actually take a vacuum pump, suck all the air out of the tire after it's mounted, and fill it with nitrogen, that's going to be the best way to do it. So if you don't do that, you still have moisture in just from the regular atmosphere, unless you're in Palm Springs in the summer where it's dead dry.
Right.
So, but the main thing is, it's not bad to use. Don't get ripped off by paying $40 to put nitrogen on your tire. Take that $40, buy a gauge like this, check it once in a while. You know, we're lazy about that stuff, and if everybody jumped out and did that, you wouldn't have a problem.
The world would be a safer and better place. Well, there is your discount tire tech tip for the week. Thanks, Ganz.
All right, Ace.